I'm sure you have seen this before. Master Choa, who's the author, also my teacher, he in prana healing and hatha yoga, he teaches about 12 chakras or 11 chakras in the body. Right? And so if you look at how many Sephiroth are in the tree of life, are 11. So it is important to understand that well, there are 10 with one hidden, right? So he actually put this together. This was never been able to be done before because the chakra system that is more commonly known is the 7 chakra system, right? People know about 7 chakras. The thing is that nobody said there were only 7. Nobody said there were only 7 chakras. So there are more. Now, there's an 11 chakra system, but these are the 11 major chakras. You have many more, but they are not major. You understand? So we have 11 major chakras in the body, just like the Sephiroth that was spoken about in Kabbalah. And this is what the book is about. It's about linking these and how it affects, how does that relate to us. So he covers each chakra, and he also covers the tree of life. And, uh, basically so that you can understand yourself better. So we have already covered the crown chakra, Keter, the forehead chakra, or the third eye, Chokna, Bina, which is the Ajna chakra, right in between the eyebrows, which is not the third eye. People, people believe it is, but it's not, right? And then we also covered the throat chakra, that, which is the hidden center. So the chapters went from 1, 2, 3, 11, okay. And now we're in chapter 4, which is Teruva, which is Chesed, the heart chakra. So then the reason is that we have 11 in between chapters 3 and 4 is because these chakras they have a very specific numbering system in Kabbalah. So he wanted to honor that. And that is generally not spoken about. It's a secret center. So if you look in very ancient writings, this is a book from Manly T. Hall called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. So you have the Tree of Life. You can come closer if you like. And you see that it has only 10 centers. You see, there's nothing here. Yeah. The same happens over here. There's only 10, you see? This being number 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's how the chapters are in the book are arranged. But you see how it's missing one? Yeah. Okay, that's by design. It's because it's a secret center. Now, if we look at the Sefer Yetzirah, you'll see the center in the Sefer Yetzirah, which is an actual Kabbalistic work. You see that being represented, and it's there. She's sharing the book with me. Actually. That's fine. It's just that I wanted to do more faithful. Like I'm not seeing. So, could you get me the Sefer Yetzirah? I like this edition of the Sefer Yetzirah that is by Rabbi Arya Kaplan. Which one's that one? It's the Sefer Yetzirah. Is the gray book. It says Sefer Yetzirah. It's let me. Well, that's what it's titled. Sorry. Okay, so this is, I like this edition by Elliot Kaplan. if you see this one, and this is an Kabbalistic work. Here it is. So here, as you can see, you don't see the 11th Sephiroth, right? But here, it shows it on a dotted line, telling you where it is. So, yes. And this is the book. Shall we invoke just for guidance and help? You can do your own or follow me mentally. It's up to you. To the Divine Supreme and Absolute God, we thank you for your great blessings. To my spiritual teacher, all spiritual teachers, to all the hierarchy of the holy angels and archangels, and to all the great ones, we humbly invoke for your divine and priceless blessings, divine guidance, help, and protection. For the priceless teachings, priceless blessings, and divine illumination. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the divine protection, the divine guidance, and the divine help. With thanks and in full faith, we humbly thank you. With deep gratitude, respect, and love, so be it. Thank you. Full faith. Thank you. Okay. So, we're in the Heart Chakra. We're talking about the Heart Chakra. That's chapter 4, and it's called The Key to Prosperity. Chesed. Chesed is the name in Hebrew, the Hebrew name given to that Sephiroth. It's called Chesed, which means mercy, right? And loving kindness. So, and it's also called The Key to Prosperity. That's the title of the chapter. Now, as a quick review, this is seeing clairvoyantly, right? What did I say? Seeing clairvoyantly, right? This is how Chesed looks. You have, this is in motion, and this is when the chakra is not in motion. So if the chakra wouldn't be in motion, it will look like this. This is the chakra in motion. This is the front heart chakra, and this is the back heart chakra. So this chakra has front and back. Okay. If we go to page 172 of the book, I find it. There, you can see the chakras how they're arranged on the body, right? So you have the front heart chakra. You see the front heart chakra in the middle of the chest, and the back heart chakra behind it. You see? Okay, so that's the heart chakra. Now the chakra is always in motion. It never stops. But this is what it would look like if it would stop. Okay? For your viewing pleasure. Okay, so I could have just used this. This picture here. Anyway, it's cool. And this is the position where it is on the tree of life. You see. Okay, so the heart chakra, it talks about the meaning that I just said, what it means. Chesed means mercy, loving kindness, right? And where is in this location, which we already saw, and also that it has the number of petals. So this chakra has 12 petals. So if you count these or sections, if you count these sections or petals, you'll see that it has 12. And then it talks about the different types of pranas that it has, right? So the front heart chakra contains golden and light red pranas. What does that? Golden and light red. That's the chakras that the pranas that it produces. So the prana means energy, right? Like chi. So that's what it like the pranic energy or the chi energy. The energy that it produces is in golden in color and light red. So it says also that the back heart chakra is slightly different. It contains golden, red, orange, and yellow pranas. Okay.
When people talk about the rainbow body, are those the colors emanating from the chakras, or are they emanating from the higher self?
Where do you hear about the rainbow body? Depends.
Um, masters, one of the courses or retreats that I went
From here.
from.
So ask the master. Yeah, ask them that question. That's a good question. Ask them that question.
Because I've heard of it in reference to the race. Each person is different race.
Mhm.
So I've heard it in reference to the race, and then I've also heard there's a couple different things that I've heard, and I'm not entirely sure which one's which in terms of the rainbow body. I don't know if I don't know.
Explain your question. I'm still my
So
answer.
when people see your aura,
I just want to know your question, but my answer will be ask that master.
okay, regardless.
Regardless.
Okay.
I will not share that here.
Okay.
But I was just interested in your question. What was your question exactly?
I'm trying to understand the origin of the rainbow body. Was it an emanation of the colors produced by the chakras? Is it an emanation of the person's aura in reference to the rays or in reference to their spiritual development? I'm sure it's a combination of all of those. I was just trying
That's
to
good.
understand.
That's you answer your own question. So meditate on it, and then also you can also ask them the master you heard from. It's actually a good meditate on it for sure. I think you're on the right track. So yes. Anyway, so that's the colors they produce. Now I'll say this: the colors have to do with frequency of vibration. The colors have to do with the frequency of the vibration. The lower chakras have a slower vibration, and therefore the colors are denser, right? Warmer. The higher chakras, right? The frequency is higher. What is frequent? What is frequency? It's more frequent. The vibration is more frequent. So it's a higher vibration. This is for you, Shayna. So that it's more frequent the vibration. So the color is different. The color is just a manifestation or representation of the level of the frequency that is um, that is happening.
The warmer the color, the
Denser
the
it
denser,
is.
and the
And
slower.
Yes, the lower it's a lower frequency or slower frequency. The higher the vibration or the higher frequency is more subtle, less dense, and the color is cooler. This brings to mind that there is a there is a interesting. I'm just going to show a picture because picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Maybe 1,001 or 999, depending on what picture you're looking at. But there is a very common or ancient understanding of it's common knowledge about the relationship between color and music, right? It's okay. Music and color, right? So even in this book, in the Secret Teachings of All Ages, there is a chapter on the Pythagorean theory of music and color. Interesting, right? So if you see this, and it's very funny because this picture is in black and white, no, no color, just values. But if but as you can see, you will see the Star of David here, right? And you see that there. How is the Star of David presented? It's because you see there is a mirror. What does the mirror represent? The mirror image, as above, so below. And the below is the reflection of the above. Did I say something? The below is the reflection of the above, because we come from above. We come from the Divine Supreme Being. We're not the body, we're not the emotions, we're not the thoughts, we're not the mind. The mind is the instrument of the soul. We are the soul. We come from above. The rest is a reflection, and the reflection is never as good as the original, yes? So, from his mouth, there are 7 colors or 7 rays, the same colors from the rainbow, right? This is from his mouth, right here. And this is the macrocosm and the microcosm, is what the picture is titled. Okay? As above, so below. So at the same time, in music, you have many different. So why is music and color? Why is this even a chapter here on a book on spirituality, on ancient secret teachings? Why? The question is why. You see the octaves here? Music was actually learned as a science. There were 4 classical science called the quadrivium, right? That was taught um, in classical, normal classical education. And the 4 sciences that were taught, right? From you have the 7 liberal arts and you have 4 sciences. The 4 sciences were what? Arithmetic, right? What else? Geometry, right? You had astronomy, and you had music. Wait a second, music? Music, a science? Yes. It was considered a science and an art, obviously, but also a science. Why? Because it spoke about the music of the spheres or the sounds of the spheres. What spheres? The spheres that we saw, like the celestial spheres, but also the spheres in other planes. They believed in there was a belief and actually an understanding that other dimensions or planes existed. How do you understand these planes? Is through vibration. Why? Because there are planes that are more subtle than others, and our we have a range of that we can hear. We have an auditory range, right? So we it's only like from like 20, what is it, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, something like that. If things outside of those ranges we cannot hear, does that mean that there's no sound outside of those ranges? No. This means that our ears cannot pick it up. But the sound still exists, the vibration exists. Music is sound. What is sound? Vibration. So they understood the different dimensions and different planes through sound. And each sound had a different color depending on its vibration. Because color vibrates different, and that's what gives off that color. So
you can feel the colors.
you can feel the colors, but also you can also see the colors, right? But there are certain rays. Now we have the ultraviolet ray. Yes or no? Yes? Okay. So we have ultraviolet ray. Can you see the ultraviolet rays? No. Do you see that they're violet? No. So how do you know they're violet?
The frequency of the vibration.
Exactly. And there are machines that we have that actually can see it, right? Scopes that we have that can actually see it, and it looks violet. Okay, perfect. So we understand that that's what it is, and the vibration frequency. But that's what it means. There are things that we cannot see with the physical body, but they can be perceived at a different level. You understand? Now, do you know what the color violet looks like? Hmm? Do you know what the color violet looks like? Have you ever seen violet in your life? Have you seen a violet flowers?
Yeah.
Or the color violet on a Pantone thing? You have, yes? Okay, so how do you know what it looks like? Because you've seen it. Now, if you see that, how come you don't see the ultraviolet light? Because there are many levels of violet. Just like there is many octaves in music, right? You have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, ti, do, right? But that do is already on another scale. Ti is actually the last. Is seven notes, right? Ti being the last note or the highest note from that octave or that scale. So, having said that, when you say do, that's the next one up. It's going to be a point where you continue on the different octaves that you will not be able to hear because it's too high or too low. Then, in the same way, it happens with light and vision. In the same way, it happens with vibration and spiritual vibration, in the sense or energy vibration. The same color in a different octave might not be able to see, just like the ultraviolet light. And there are others that you won't see in this plane because that vibration will be from another plane. And that vibration will be for matter of that plane. So you have the physical plane and you have let's just say the astral plane afterwards, right? You have the physical plane, then you have the astral plane, then you have the mental plane or the causal plane, right? So in the astral plane has astral matter. The astral plane is also called the emotional plane because that's where emotions energetically are. And they're made with astral or emotional matter. In the mental plane, the mental energy is made, or thoughts are made with mental matter. Now, are they all energy? Yes. Can you feel it? Yes. Can you attune to it? Yes. You just have, and you're constantly using these, right? You can interact with them because just like you have a physical body to interact with the physical world, and you have a computer to interact with the internet, with the cyber world, you also have a physical body to interact with the physical world, so you can touch physical things. You also have an emotion, your aura is made up of an emotional body so that you can interact with the emotional world or the astral world, and you have a mental body as part of your aura as well, that just doesn't have to look like you. It's round like this, and that like what an aura looks like, but you also have a mental body so that you can interact with the mental world and mental matter. That's why thoughts, etc. And you have other bodies to interact with other spiritual worlds. just like you have a physical body to interact with the physical world, right? So you can grab and touch them. Good, I'm glad we covered all that. Anyway, so and this is how a Volkswagen. I'm just joking. So, I remember those commercials, but I don't know if anybody remembers. But anyway, something else completely unrelated, and then they went, "This is how Volkswagen is similar to whatever."
I think I remember those.
Yeah, long time ago. So, yeah. So the heart center. So the front heart center has more golden energies and light whitish red energy than the back heart center. Yes. So in any case. So afterwards,
Why is that?
why is what?
Why is it that the front heart center has?
Oh, because they're used for different things. I mean, there's a front and back heart, right? But they have different.
So the front
They're
heart
used for
is
different
higher
things.
frequency than the back heart.
Is it?
Well, it has lighter colors. It has more gold.
It's more gold and lighter is red, and the other one, but the other one has more. It has red, orange, and yellow pranas as well. So as I said before, also is different, right? So those, and the reason I say that is because you see the crown center, right? The crown center, how many colors that it has? I'm gonna go back actually, so I don't say it. I'm just gonna read it, so I'll use the book more. If we go to page 15, right? It says that the outer petals of the crown center, right? The last line, almost the last line, it says contains light violet, blue, yellow, green, orange, and red pranas. So that's orange and red pranas. So is the crown center the chakra? Are these colors of high vibration or low vibration? So no. So these colors in the crown center are of a different level. Let's just say a different octave than the ones in the lower chakras.
Gotcha.
You understand? This is at a different level. Why? And why do I say this? Because if you read Master Choa's books on healing, right? Let's just say a migraine headache, just that comes to mind. He explains there about sometimes getting a migraine is a malfunctioning of the solar plexus chakra, and we have the main chakra right on the back behind, let's say the level of the navel, just about, and a functioning of the solar plexus chakras, right, which is the lower set of the lower emotions, which you're gonna check here. When people are stressed, etc., it makes the solar plexus chakras congested, right? These negative emotions, and so it starts malfunctioning. That malfunctioning affects as well the main, right? It gets bigger, right? It contaminates the main, and there's some malfunctioning of the main. The main is there, right, to help transmute the energy that goes upward, right? We have an upward flow of energy. We have a downward and upward flow of energy, right? And this upward flow of energy of the lower energies is being transmuted by the main chakra. That transmutation so that it can be actually these energies, it transmute these energies into higher energies, right? So that the higher chakras can actually use these energies, because these chakras are used for higher purposes or for energies that are more subtle. Like what do I mean by that? The lower chakras are made, like the basic chakra is the chakra that controls the osteomuscular system, or the skeletal and muscular system of the body. Yes, is the skeletal and muscular system, is that very dense or is that dense or is that subtle?
It's pretty dense.
It's very dense, right? So these energies have to be very dense. When you're thinking, right, and you're thinking and you're like philosophizing and you're also praying to God and all these things, is that very dense or very subtle?
Yeah,
It's subtle, right? Thoughts are subtle, right? You cannot just be grabbing them with your hands like that, right? So with your physical hands. So then what happens is that these chakras have to do, like the higher chakras, the ones around your head, are for thinking, for abstract thinking, for philosophizing, all these things, right? Also spiritual understanding, and so spiritual work. So these are very subtle. The energies that they work with have to be refined, subtle energies in comparison to the grosser energies that are used for physicalizing things, right? Materializing things for your physical and skeletal system. So, and other things. So, those lower energies have to be transmuted into more subtle energies that can be used by the higher chakras that are not made for gross energy stuff, for energy that is dense. Therefore, when there's a malfunction in the main, that red energy and dirty red energy, obviously because of the stress and all that, goes upward, and it goes, then it goes into these chakras, not fully transmuted. That's why you have these headaches, because these chakras are not made for this, to deal with these gross energies. Is there? I don't know. Are there knocking? Can you check please? So, so then you understand. So just because of the color doesn't mean that the energy is not subtle. So the red energies in the crown center are completely different than the red energies on the basic chakra, or in the basic chakra. Therefore, that's why I spoke about the music and the octaves and all of that. So you understand that there is like a do like that, and there's like, maybe very high, and probably I'm saying the wrong note, but it doesn't matter. There's like, and that could be the same note and a lower or higher. We're good at what we're good at, and we're not at what we're not. So then that's that. But it's just an example, right? Clear? Okay, so Center for Higher Emotions. This is why you see we are still in chapter 4. So the Center for Higher Emotions. So then on page 84, the author talks about the Chesed, or the Heart Center is the Center for Higher Emotions. What does he mean by that? Well, I'm just trying to review. I'm trying to get to the next section, so I'll just try to say this. Just mention this. And so you have the higher emotions, right? You have the also below the crown center on page 172. You'll see that you have the heart center, right? Show it to you. You have the heart center here, and then below it, right below it, you have the solar plexus center, solar plexus chakra, right? And that chakra is the center for lower emotions. What does that mean? So when you higher emotions are like love, compassion. You want to do an experiment that we did last week, real quick? Yes, say yes. Okay, good. So then just relax, and I need you guys to say this with me again, like last week. You say it with conviction, right? Feel it, and you say, see if you feel it in your toe or where you're feeling what you're saying. right? So you say justice.
Justice.
Say it.
Justice.
Power.
Power.
Strength.
Strength.
So where do you feel? You feel that on your toe? No, right? So where do you feel it? There. Okay, good. So why? That's where the solar plexus is. You say motivation, excitement. Say it.
Motivation. Excitement.
Where do you feel it?
I feel like it's somewhere around here.
Well, that's your voice. But get from up from the chair. Yeah, like that. So say motivation.
Motivation. Yeah, that feels much better.
There you go. Okay, yeah. So if you're laying down, so yeah. So when you're standing up or when you're sitting up, you say motivation, excitement. Then you feel it around here, right? The pep talks are rah rah rah, and everybody's like, yeah. That's so that has to do with the lower emotions, and those are positive lower emotions. Justice, that's a positive lower emotion. Lower emotions don't always have to be bad. This chakra has a bad rap because it also is for stress, and which is also a lower emotion. Fear, anxiety, all those are around here. So people have stomach issues, things like that. Fear, all that is around. You can stop right here, and all those are lower emotions. But we're talking about positive lower emotions. The other ones are when the solar plexus chakra is dirty, congested, etc. But nevertheless, this is the center for lower emotions. Now, if you say, don't put your back to the chair, so you can feel this. The other one, when you say higher emotions, right? We're gonna do higher emotions. So you say mercy. Say it with mean what you're saying, and you say compassion,
Passion.
loving kindness,
Loving kindness.
happiness.
Happiness.
Where do you feel it?
Somewhere around here.
Okay. So
That's funny because somebody else that I know, I was talking to them about that to see what they feel, and they also said that they feel like love in their head.
well, that's good because of the crown center is also a center of love. But but you see people when they are like walking, sometimes they're in love and they walk like this with their chest puffed out, right? So do you feel the energy here on this area? Yeah. So so when you let's say loving kindness and you are aware of this, you actually feel it pop up. Say I don't know, compassion,
Passion.
mercy,
Mercy.
right? You smile automatically, right? So do you feel something here? That's actually what happens is this is the heart center here. That's why people puff up when they're like in love and things like that. So um, so this is why this is the center for higher emotions. So that's basically what it means here. You understand? That's what this section is basically is all about. They they are they influence each other, but you cannot be, let's say, in in anger or in fear and be in a loving way at the same time. You can go back and forth intermittently, but either you are one or you are the other. And so one regulate, this one regulates the lower emotions, and therefore is higher. All right, so but you can look at the last week's. We basically did this last week, this whole thing, so you can actually cover in more detail on the last video. So the video for last week. So then he goes over to physiological functions. Okay. In physiological, so the chakras, right? since you weren't here before, this is your first time here. The chakras actually they control different the organs around this area. And also emotions and and the mental aspect as well. So in physiological functions, they and energy aspects. So in physiological functions, they're actually talking about the physical aspect. What is the physical aspect that they control? Um, and as all the chakras, they actually affect the physical body as well. They're like they energize the physical body and the organs that are around them. So it says here, the front heart chakra controls and energizes the heart and thymus gland, while the back heart chakra controls and energizes the lungs, the heart, the thymus gland, and the circulatory system. Malfunctioning of the front heart chakra manifests as heart and circulatory ailments. The solar plexus chakra is quite sensitive to emotions, tension, and stress, and has a strong influence on the physical heart and the front heart chakra. Now, let me stop there. To answer your question about the different colors and different things, is that the front heart chakra controls and energizes well the heart and the thymus gland. So, does it control and energize the lungs? No, but the back heart chakra does. Right? It says it controls and energizes the lungs, the heart, like the front heart, right, and the thymus gland, like the front heart, and the circulatory system. Now, but because of the lungs and the rest, right, the circulatory system, it needs all these other colors, right, like orange for expelling and things like that. So, and the yellow, obviously, also. So, so that's why they do different jobs for different things. So, but I wanted to talk about that once we covered it here on this section. And as above, so below. So if you're working at a certain level, right, physically, there are also other counterparts and higher levels. Just a word for the day. What are those higher levels? Well, you should meditate on that. Okay, good. Let's move on. Anyway, so
Can you say that again slower?
what are those lower levels? Then you meditate on that. You think about
Were
it.
you saying that the colors?
I'm talking about no, not the colors. Look, they both have different functions at the physical level. Yes or no?
Yes.
As above, so below. If they have different functions at the physical level,
yes,
chances are that they have different functions at higher levels.
yes.
So as I said, just
Okay.
that's something to think about. Okay, so it says malfunctioning of the front and the front heart chakra manifests as heart and circulatory ailments. And then it says the solar plexus chakra is quite sensitive to emotions. This is important. Again, I know we're not in the solar plexus chakra yet. That's in the next chapter. But I think it's important to understand because this chakra gets a lot of bad rap in the sense that people, because you have to heal it all the time, every time that, there's stress, there's fear, anxiety, all these things is all about the solar plexus chakra. This chakra, that's not what it's about. This chakra is very important. If you look at it, actually, let's look at it now. I'm a defender of the solar plexus chakra, taking it upon myself to be an advocate of the solar plexus. If you look in page 94, you see page 94. This is what the solar plexus chakra looks like, right? It's beautiful. If you wanted to talk about the rainbow body, look at this. This is more apt to be talking about the rainbow body than any other chakra. This chakra is super important and is a wonderful, wonderful chakra. Just the myriad of colors should tell you of everything converges here. And so, but what happens? Because, you know, because it has a, because it does a lot, right? It is sensitive to certain things, certain energies, right? It's like a multi-purpose chakra. So
I have a question.
wait. So therefore, sorry, I'm gonna get to you, but let me finish this thought. So it says here that the solar plexus chakra is quite sensitive. Does it say sensitive? No, it says quite sensitive. So it is beyond sensitive, right? To emotions, tension, and stress. It says it has a strong influence on the physical heart and the front heart chakra. It's a strong influence over many chakras, but specifically, as it says here, that. So
What page are you on? Lady?
I'm on 86, where we were reading before. Sorry. It says that the solar plexus chakra is quite sensitive to emotions, tension, and stress. Right? This is on the fifth line. Under physiological
Where
functions.
on the,
Physiological functions, 86.
on
86.
Chesed, not
Chesed. That's what I said. Page 86.
Yeah.
On the fifth line, it says the solar. We already read this.
Yes.
The solar plexus chakra is quite sensitive. It doesn't only say sensitive. It also says quite sensitive to emotions, to tension, and stress. So what I'm trying to say here is that the author is. This is very specific, and the author. This is something to meditate upon, because the author, to think about, because the author is actually giving us something very special here. Because of the nature of this chakra, because of this sensitivity, hypersensitivity, then we are constantly thinking of, is this chakra, or how to clean this chakra, or, or there's all this stress, or whatever. But the chakra, that's not what the chakra is about. That's not what the chakra is there for. That's when there's contamination, when it's being affected, right? But in reality, this chakra is very special. It's needed for willpower, for strength, for justice, for getting excited about a project, for having that strength to continue, for strength to continue your spiritual practice. Super important. At the same time, it's quite sensitive to these things. It's not a bad chakra. And the thing is that when we think it's bad, that we learn more about it, or that, when we have a negative, let's just say, every time people say solar plexus chakra, people cringe sometimes. Once you learn more about the chakras, people are like, oh, wait. And that's a negative attitude towards the chakra. When you have a negative attitude towards the chakra, guess what? That's what you get in return. And if you don't know generally the system of the solar plexus chakra or different chakras like that, it may not be relevant to you or to other people that hear this for the first time. But for those that are constantly in it, this is like a message for a lot of healers, hatha yogis, and many other people that talk about this chakra, or manipura chakra in this case. Sometimes manipura chakra in the seven chakra system is either they see it as a navel chakra or as a solar plexus chakra, or something in between, right? Because 7 chakra system, has been given both attributes, but specifically, but there's a lot of fire, and there's like anger or things like that, or and that has to do really with solar plexus. But it is very important having a good attitude towards your chakras, and specifically to the solar plexus chakra, so that when you think of your solar plexus chakra, you don't think about stress, fear, anxiety, all these things that have really nothing to do with the chakra of the nature of that chakra. It's just that it's sensitive to to stress, to emotions, but it's sensitive or quite sensitive. But as a center of lower emotions, a clean solar plexus chakra is necessary for the spiritual path, for success, for moving forward, and for a healthy heart. For good relationships, for your spiritual path, for being courageous, and for being loving. Because you need to be courageous to be loving, right? So the solar plexus chakra is a beautiful chakra, and I bid you to see it as such. The beautiful rainbow chakra. So should not be ignored. So the author, but this is
So that means it is instant loving
tending loving care, yes. TLC, you said, right? That's good. Yes, so, but I think it's very important that what the author says here, that chakra is quite sensitive, because it removes that, that stigma that it has from, being the source or house of that, which is not. And that's a stigma because it's wrong. But I just wanted to make emphasis on that because that helps on removing that. The author speaks about this in a very positive light, but also by saying this is correct. Is correct expression. It's accurate perception and correct expression, as he says. I know it's 2 words, but I think it's very important. I just wanted to make emphasis on that. So anyway, it also says that the solar plexus chakra has a strong influence on the physical heart and the front heart chakra. So the solar plexus chakra has a strong influence on the physical heart and on the heart chakra. The front heart chakra is closely connected to the front solar plexus chakra. What does he say? That is strongly connected, right? That is closely connected to the the heart chakra to the solar plexus chakra by several big energy channels. How many energy channels? Several. And of what magnitude? Big. And it's also energized by the front solar plexus chakra to a certain degree. Is the solar plexus chakra important? A healthy solar plexus chakra? Yes. Is a good attitude towards this chakra important? Yes. So, patients with heart problems usually have a malfunctioning solar plexus chakra. The back heart chakra primarily controls and energizes the lungs and to a certain degree the heart and the thymus gland, right? To a certain degree, meaning not as much as the front. Malfunctioning of the back heart chakra manifests as lung problems such as asthma, tuberculosis, and others. The heart chakra also affects the ability of the body to fight infection. Why? The question is why. From a medical viewpoint, the thymus gland is an important factor in the defense system of the body. So if it affects the thymus gland, right, it controls and energizes the thymus gland. That's why it affects the ability of the body to fight infection. As it is, an important factor in the defense system of the body. Good? What is your question?
Well, I was gonna ask if is that why whenever there are certain emotions like fear or whenever there are certain things like I mean it's pretty recurrent that people describe it like they feel it like almost near the stomach, not quite the stomach, but somewhere in between the ribs and stuff. So
Yeah, that's where your solar plexus is. Solar plexus is the
I guess it is associated to the solar.
yeah, that's because the solar plexus chakra, because that's congested energy or malfunctioning of the dirty energy that manifests as that, depending on the vibration, right? And the thoughts and energies behind it.
Would that also be, I've heard it before and I've experienced it whenever there's excitement about certain things, people also have a
Yeah.
similar emotion.
That's where you feel it. You feel it in the solar because see excitement and it's also that it's a positive, well in the right dosages, right? It's a positive lower emotion. It's a positive emotion.
It's funny because to me, I don't know if it's the same to everyone, but to me, I find that the feeling of fear and like very high excitement is not really that different from one another.
Yeah, they're low. They have a similar vibration, but at the same time, it's because then that has to do with the understanding of the person and with the fact of how you see the world or how you see things. Like the Lord Buddha used to say, right? Suffering comes from desire and fear. He saw suffering as a disease, so he wanted to end suffering. That was his goal, was to end suffering. So how did he treat suffering? How did he look at suffering? As a disease, like a Hindu medical man. And he said, well, what is the root of suffering? The root of suffering is desire and fear. Desire to attain something, or once you attain it, to not lose it. And the fear, the desire to attain something. And then the fear of having obtained it, never to lose it, or the fear to never obtain it, if you haven't obtained it. And that is what, creates suffering, according to the Lord Buddha. And if you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. So when you're excited about something, you haven't achieved it yet. Or let's say you just achieved it recently. Or even if you're in it, you're having this thoughts of excitement. And then fear might creep in because, you may not feel entirely sure about yourself, or you may be attached to it. And so then you may have fear of losing it or never getting it if you haven't achieved it yet, if you're just starting a project. And, and so and then if you have too much excitement or extreme desire, that can lead to suffering. That's why sometimes these emotions may feel that way. But if you are centered in, excitement, if in a healthy excitement, you don't experience fear. If you're not attached, but you're still excited about it, if you're just happy about the journey, doesn't have to be, you can be excited about the journey and not the destination. It is different, and you're detached of the outcome. You know those people that say, I'm just happy to be here? That's a great way of looking at it, because you're detached. Because you already experienced, you have already achieved. And then when you're not there anymore, you'll be happy to be somewhere else. Because in the end of the day, you never leave you. And if you're happy to be here, in you, right? Or like when you're inspired, you're in the spirit. In spiritus, in the spirit. That's what inspired means. If you're happy to be you, so if you're happy to be here, in the you or the soul, and you're happy all the time. No matter where you are, no matter where it is that you're doing, you're just happy to be here. Here. So then, yeah, so that's that. Did I answer your question? Or comment? Okay, good. So, Shana, right? What was you were you did a Camino, right? The way of Santiago, you walked,
Yes.
and it's about the journey, right?
It's about the journey, not about the destination. And there's a lot of lessons that you learn along the way that reflects in life in general.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. So, I think those pilgrimages are about that, are about the journey.
It's also about being open to receive, because a lot of times you just need to be open and then you receive everything that you want.
It's a powerful lesson right there. And that's all about the heart. That's great. Thank you. So, okay, so now talking about receiving, here is giving. The next section is called giving.
Good segue.
Exactly. And then it says, it's very interesting because it says giving, the way to prosperity, right? Like Master Choa Koksui's meditation on prosperity. How does it start? It is in giving that we receive. You gotta do that. It is in giving that we receive. As I sow abundantly, I reap abundantly. This is the divine law. I love it. Okay, so it says, in Kabbalah, the heart chakra is also called Jedula. It's called what? Jedula, which means greatness or abundance. Right? When a person is merciful and compassionate, traits, higher emotions, right, of the heart chakra. She gives and shares generously. So when a person is merciful and compassionate, she what? Gives and shares generously. Giving is the secret of prosperity and abundance. That is why St. Francis of Assisi said, it is in giving that we receive. St. Paul in 2 Corinthians 9:6 also said, he who sows generously shall reap also generously. And in Luke 6:38, Jesus said, give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over. It basically says, give and it shall be given unto you. And then it says, in good measure, right? Pressed down and shaken together and running over.
him.
Yeah, like many times. Like you're gonna get it good. You're gonna give, and it shall be given unto you. Good. Okay.
Shaken
Yes.
but stirred.
Yes. Exactly.
I've noticed for the first time, it starts, that second sentence, it starts with when a person is merciful and compassionate, but then it quickly says she. Does that mean that,
It's just a way that means what?
does that mean that the chakras correlate to masculine and feminine energies? Like the duality?
No,
It's just because us women are more giving now.
That's what I thought at first, but then it was like,
No. It's just a way. You know how people always use he to encompass everything. Master Choa sometimes uses she so that he can be, so it doesn't have to always be he. He's acknowledging everybody. Like if you look at the great invocation, we have done the great invocation before, right? From the point of light within the mind of God, that light stream forth into the minds of men, right? That light descend on earth. That's the beginning. And then from the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men, and Christ returned to earth. So, but the way Master Choa started doing it later on, it was actually from the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the heart, into the minds of all people. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of all people. May Christ return to earth, or may love descend on earth. So, why? Because he's trying to encompass everybody. Because of words, sometimes, yes, we have come to know that he or men have to do with with everybody. It's universal, right? There's man and woman, right? But at the same time, since there are differences for accurate perception and correct expression, he sometimes uses he and she interchangeably, because in reality, we're not. Our genders are just for this moment. We're not the body. Our body has a gender. The soul doesn't have a gender. You understand? So the soul is neither male nor female. Right? Or both. Male, female, may he them, right? Male, female, may he them. Doesn't matter. So in reality, our soul doesn't have it's beyond gender. So he uses this interchangeably to give everybody a chance. And it's mainly for how people understand things.
Like an equal opportunity employer.
Yes, that's right. And it's how people understand. It's basically for people's understanding. Some people may not see that the soul, may not see it at that level. So there is a way of reaching everyone. So then he says, according to Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching, the more he gives, the more he has. You see, now he's using he. Oh, men, I think, are also generous. Anyways, so he says, the more he gives, the more he has. By showing compassion and mercy, and by sharing and giving, one is blessed with tremendous abundance and prosperity. I'm going to read that again just because I think it's very important. I think we have to close. We have almost done. By showing compassion and mercy, and by sharing and giving, which is how he started, right? When a person is merciful and compassionate, by showing compassion and mercy, and by sharing and giving. So when a person is merciful and compassionate, she gives and shares generously. And at the end, he says, by showing compassion and mercy and by sharing and giving, one is blessed with tremendous abundance and prosperity. So the question is why?
Like attracts like.
Like attracts like, but why? Why does like attract like? So Well, obviously because the law of karma, right? But it's a divine is a divine law. But we can cover that next week, just because we can talk about it next week because of time. I want to honor the time of everybody. So, but basically the question is why in the reason karma. But in reality, what is karma and why does it work that way? You understand? So we can cover that. We'll cover that next week. So finishing that section, we come the Thy kingdom come. This is the next section, which is from the Lord's Prayer. So as you can see here, as we covered in the previous sections, each chakra has to do with the Lord, with the line of the Lord's Prayer, and making it a very powerful meditation that was given to us by the Lord Christ. And then he continues on the different sections as love as a gateway to illumination, auric cleansing and achieving inner calmness through Chesed or through the heart center has to do with auric cleansing and achieving inner calmness, which is very special. Like in every chapter, we have the Chinese and Indian correspondences to Chesed or the Heart Chakra, the Chinese and Indian correspondence on their systems, and energizing the physical heart through the back heart chakra, the physical permanent seed. This is very, very special, the physical permanent seed. Let's talk about the seeds. And the fourth commandment, as we said, each chakra is related to a commandment and the divine name of the seed in the end. So we'll cover. So next week we'll try to cover as much as we can, but we have a lot to cover still. In any case, are there any quick questions before we close? I keep telling you to write questions and bring them, and we can we can start with the questions. You know, the study group. So any questions?
I don't know if it's quick, but.
Okay.
So.
Good question. Okay, shall we close? No. Okay, go ahead.
Do the chakras also correlate to the 5 virtues?
That's a good question. What do you think? They do. They do. Yes, they do. Chakras do correlate. So the 5 virtues, in a way, also correlate with the commandments, right? And so chakras also correlate with the virtues. But with those specific 5 virtues, many different systems have different set of virtues. With the virtues that you're talking about from the Arhatic Yoga, yes, they do correlate. And and they're found everywhere. Honesty and non-injury, right? Like also in the Yoga Sutras, they're there. Industriousness, moderation, and generosity, right? And and honesty. So those virtues, yes, they correlate with the chakras, and maybe grouped up together, right? Because yeah, they're grouped up because you cannot have. Yeah, there you go. So Frankie is talking about the different groupings of the tribes. I don't know. We'll have to see exactly what relates to what in what groups, but it's like but I'll say this. So for on the other chakras that we saw about Dad, right, the throat chakra, and Bina, the Ashna chakra, and so they were both right, but because they're 10 commandments, but they're 11 chakras. So what does that? On the other tablet that broke, so you have that actually corresponds to the commandment that says thou shall not say my name in vain, right? So just like Bina, why? Because you have to think it and also utter it. So either way, even if you're thinking it, the name of the Lord in vain, or holy things in vain, you should not say it. Everything that we say must be good, holy, and good. It is more important than what comes out of the mouth than what comes in. What comes out of the mouth, what comes in might dirty the physical body, but that's whatever. But what comes out of the mouth dirties, also your incarnated soul, your aura. It's terrible. It's not good. Or if it's bad, if it's good, it actually uh, it it embellishes, heals. It enhances your and and I guess purifies and heals your your aura, and it also helps grow your incarnated soul to grow, to be more pure, etc. So um, it can purify. So, but those are two chakras with the same commandment. So for the virtues, it will be something similar. Okay, good. Shall we?
I don't know if it's a question, but
Mhm.
I don't know how to do the meditation between hearts.
Okay, yeah. So next week is very simple. We start at 7, the meditation. So come by. There are also many ways you can go actually to um, pranichealingusa.com to pranichealing.com, and they also have their links for the meditation on twin hearts, and you can actually do it there. Um, you can stream it from there, or they have information on how to stream it, how to order it. You can also look for it and get the CD from them as well. Those two, pranichealing.com or pranichealingusa.com. You can get CDs from them as well, and then you can do the meditation. I don't know if there's an MP3 download, or you can, and then they have streaming that you can actually do the meditation on as well. And it's a guided meditation. If not, you can come here. Uh, we're also going to start meditations in other places. So maybe if Mondays at 7 is difficult for you, you can go somewhere else. When we're going to start giving out meditations on Tuesdays, also around that time, with healing nights, and you know, we'll let everybody know. There might be another day, but there are many ways that you can actually learn how to do the meditation of your hearts, aka also known as the illumination technique and by other names. Good. Okay. Anyone else? We're good.
I have a plan.
Okay, so write them down, and we can actually talk about a few of them next week. We'll cover them as we go. Okay. All right, shall we? To the Divine Supreme and Absolute God, we humbly thank you for your divine and priceless blessings. To my spiritual teacher, all spiritual teachers, holy angels, holy masters, to all the saints, to the hierarchy of the holy angels and archangels, and to all the great ones, we humbly thank you for your divine and priceless blessings. Thank you for your divine teachings. Thank you for the divine teachings, the priceless understanding, the priceless knowledge, the priceless love, for the illumination, the healing, the compassion, mercy, and illumination. We thank you in full faith. Thank you for coming. Amma namaste. Amma namaste. Amma namaste. Amma namaste. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay.
Thank you for inviting us.